After Marge left the supermarket, she was robbed. She carefully held Maggie in her arms, and after a series of gunshots, Marge collapsed into a pool of blood. Homer suddenly heard the phone ring, and upon learning of Marge's death, he broke down in tears.
Bart, Lisa, I have something to tell you.
Lisa and Bart couldn't control their sobbing. That night, Homer lay alone in bed and suddenly came up with a selfish thought. Fueled by alcohol, Homer wrote a long farewell letter. He tied a heavy rock around his body, took one last look at their home, and then walked toward the riverbank. Just then, a car appeared from a distance. Homer thought he saw a younger version of Marge. He instantly fell in love with her, but it was all just a dream. The driver took the drunk Homer back home. However, living without Marge seemed even more painful. The next morning, an officer brought good news. Maggie, who had gone missing the night of the accident, was found. This rekindled Homer's will to live. A week later was Marge's funeral, and the neighbors from Springfield all attended. The sorrow on everyone's faces was evident. Homer had still lost the person he loved most. Since Marge's death, Lisa had been distracted every day. It seemed her soul had left with Marge. Even Bart, usually mischievous, became quiet. Because of his intense longing for Marge, Bart often thought he saw her right beside him. He prayed to God every day, hoping Marge would return, wishing the God of time would show him mercy once again. Homer, too, felt heartbroken. He found a birthday surprise that Marge had prepared for him in the closet. Homer had to take on the responsibility of raising the 3 children, but with no experience, the house became a mess in just 10 minutes. The kids had to go to school in dirty clothes. Fortunately, Homer remembered how Marge used to do the laundry. Homer spent a lot of time with the children and encouraged them, just like Marge had. Their bond grew stronger through each shared experience. To make money to support the family, Bart took on the responsibility of caring for Maggie, but Maggie still had to eat from a dog's bowl. This made Homer very angry. In his fury, he grabbed Bart by the throat. Bart, back in his room, flipped through old photo albums. He had never felt warmth from his father. Instead, he grew up under his torment, envious of the life the kids next door had. Whenever Homer missed Marge, he would watch old videotapes with the kids. Thinking of the past, both Homer and Lisa were heartbroken. Homer drove alone to Marge's grave. Every night, Homer would think of Marge and the times they were in love. He resorted to alcohol to numb his pain. One night, Homer aimlessly walked onto the street, tempted more than once to go see Marge. Under the streetlights, he thought he saw her, but behind the window was Flanders. Not knowing how long he had walked, Homer found himself at a pyramid. Struggling to climb to the top, he saw Marge. He hurriedly shouted her name, but she didn't respond. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't see her face clearly. It turned out this was just a nightmare. Homer's cries woke up Lisa. Long-term insomnia and anxiety had taken a toll on Homer's mental health.
Good news, Lisa. I don't need your mother anymore.
Lisa never imagined that their happiness had been shattered, so she decided to leave home. After saying goodbye to Maggie, she set off alone on an unknown journey. Homer posted missing person notices all over the street.
Lisa!
Homer wandered the streets like a soulless being. Suddenly, he noticed a building ahead. After standing in line for 2 hours, Homer stood on the edge of the rooftop. At the sheriff's persuasion, Homer made the tough choice to keep going on with life. From that day, Homer's need to control Bart became more intense. Losing 2 loved ones in a row was unbearable for Homer, and he blamed Bart for Marge's death and Lisa's departure. Bart's face was beaten until it was unrecognizable. 3 days later, when Bart finally opened his eyes, he wrote a farewell letter and tossed his toys away. Bart decided to go to heaven to find Marge. That night, Homer found Bart's letter. Homer completely broke down. Bart's death taught him the value of cherishing the people around him, so he decided to stop drinking as the first step toward change.
You call this posting? You call this a tax return? You call this a supercomputer?
After facing both the pressures of work and life, Homer had lost all motivation to live, but Maggie still needed him. She became the only reason for Homer to keep going. No matter what he faced at work, when he returned home, Homer would still try to make Maggie happy. He patiently fed her and took care of every aspect of her life. He tried to tell her stories.